Hello, hello. Welcome back to IG Live with Harman Pro India. We were on a bit of a break last month, but this time around we're back with yet another musician joining us for our little chat. Today we're going to be speaking with someone who's a huge name in the world percussion space. He's a renowned Kanjira player in the Carnatic tradition. And he's played with the likes of John McLaughlin via Remember Shakti, Jonas Hellborg, Sean Lane, and countless others. He's a composer. He's composed music for movies and many other such things. We'll just wait for. He's none other than V. Selvaganesh. He'll be joining us shortly. I'll just wait for. Sir, if you're watching, we're ready to go. You can send me the request and we can go live. Just give us a few moments and we'll be live soon.
Now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's in
yeah.
the studio room, like maybe.
We have
Anyway, how about you? Are
all well, all well. How are you, sir?
all well, same here. Good positive vibes. Not on the side of
Yeah.
Corona, positive. All good vibes. And everything
No,
going good.
if it's music you're talking about, then it's always positive. Every
Always
single
positive.
day, every single
That,
minute.
that's really true. But I'm really happy to be part of this session. And
Oh, absolutely.
Harman,
And thank you so much for taking out the time and doing this with us, sir.
my pleasure to be on. Like it's like a family. It's always like a family.
Absolutely. The feeling is mutual, sir. So
Yeah, same.
I've just given the viewers a brief introduction of yourself, and is there anything that you would like to? So we would, I think, like to understand. Of course, you're the son of the great Vikku
Yeah,
Vinayakram, and that he's someone who the world has been seeing since the 1970s, or
yeah,
maybe even before that,
yeah.
when Shakti began, and he was touring with the likes of John McLaughlin and Zakir
Yeah,
Hussain and so many other stalwarts of the world music scene. And
yeah,
I think you, in some way, are carrying that tradition forward of not being restricted to one particular genre of music, and really exploring everything that the world of music has to offer. So, how did it all begin? Obviously, you were born in a household where music was
very
ever
true.
present. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
So, how was that? How did it all begin? How did it evolve for you?
yeah. It's like kind of like where we say it now, the new generation. So when
Oh,
my dad's generation, I was a new generation in that period
right,
of
right.
like, So of course, obviously, like when I born, like when I was like 8 month baby, like my grandfather used to keep me on his lap and teach. So that's how it's
Wow.
all like. And also when I was in the mom's womb, also like I can I mean I might have heard it. So the
Right.
music, it's in the blood, and so there is no other option that I can choose anything else in my life. Music, it's my
Oh,
part of my life. Then what happens is like choosing a ganjira. That's a difficult, task. Like because I wanted to be a mridangam player. Like as
oh,
I've told
okay.
in so many interviews, the reason is
Right.
in our culture, the mridangam is the main percussion instrument. So then
True.
comes like gatam and everything. So they are the one
True.
who decide what they want to play on stage. So I wanted to be like that. So but my grandfather said, like, better you take a Kenjira. There are two reasons. One is we don't have much player in our culture to keep this
Right.
tradition on, instruments
Right.
tradition on. Second is
Right.
there are a lot of Mridangam players. To fight and to be one among them, it's nothing. But if you choose Kanjira, you'll get more concept and you'll be top. That's what it is. And take this instrument to a different level. Everyone knows Mridangam. See what your
Right.
dad did is like he took the gatam and world knows about that instrument. So that's now it's your responsibility to take a different instrument. I would have been a gatam player, then it's even much easier to like because it's already popular and people will expect, okay, Viku's son will play gatam. But
Yes.
that's what my
Right.
dad said. He can force a few things, and also like he showed me this is what it is. See, if you do something, then there should be a goal to
Right.
achieve. So take this instrument. This is new. Like, I mean, take it to the world. So that's how it's all started. And then, of course, like from 80s to end of 80s, mid of 80s to 90s, I was totally accompanying for all top Carnatic musicians. So I
Right.
was not allowed to do any fusion concerts or things like this because
Oh,
my father and grandfather said, first do what you are.
right,
So
right,
you have
right,
to
right.
learn and you have to be part of it. So then you can explore whatever you want to do. Not
It's
like
kind of like
not
it's kind of like saying that you have to learn the rules before you break them.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
is. But now what happens is this generation, like they're straight away ahead. Like, I mean, they just once they started playing concerts, like, they'll start exploring. See, that's the problem. Like, so
Right,
you have the taste of what it is, what you are,
right,
and what you come
right,
and where you come from. So almost 10 years, like, I was just accompanying. Then, like, there are a lot of chances where I mean, collaborated with different musicians. For example, my first fusion was with Prasanna guitar for a
right.
college.
Prasanna Iyer.
Yeah, yeah, that
Okay.
the guitar is Prasanna. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So he's the one, like, I mean, who started playing fusion and taking Carnatic music and putting into a jazz format and what a lot of things we did it. So Shivamani, Prasanna, Keith Peters, and myself. So we were the
Oh,
band. Yeah, so
okay.
that was the band, in I would say like 96, 94, something like that. So we started playing concerts, and of course for a lot of college culturals we used to play, and for the IIT Mood Indigo, wherever, like, So that was my first experience to be part of fusion band.
Right, right.
It was like luckily, fortunately, like I had a great chance to be part of Masters of Percussion by Ustad Zakir Hussain. Zakir Bhai, he
Right.
is the one. See, I got a chance. That was like 91, 92, something like that. So almost 25 years I'm playing with him. And he's the man. He's the godfather for me. And he's the man who showed me everything. And whenever we are on tour, like he always says, go and listen to this concert. This is the jazz format. And this is rock. This
Right,
is pop.
right,
And everything.
right.
Like, he's the one who showed it to me. And also the way of playing to approach and the audience approach. And like you feel the vibe of the concert. It's not like, it's not going to be the same in every concert.
Right.
So you have to the vibe first. So these are all, I mean, I've learned it from him. Then he is the one who introduced me to Shakti. Remember Shakti?
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's a chain.
Right. Well, when you picked up the Kanjira,
Yeah.
before that, did you still learn the other instruments, or did you try
No,
them out, or it was just okay?
my first instrument which I took, that was Kanjira. There was a reason for that too. Those period, like, I mean, we have a school, Sri Jayaganesh Salavati Vidyalaya, which is a
Right,
government
right,
registered school. We run I mean, we teach all percussion. So those period, like, whatever the government function happens here in Mahabalipuram, we
right,
are the one to like present Indian percussion thing, like, how the Indian percussion will sound and everything, demonstrate the Indian percussion. So in
right,
that, we need to have a Mridangam, Kanjira, Gatam, and then Singh, Konako. So
right.
all the students who were learning, they don't willing to take this instrument because whatever they do with two hands, we have to do it with one hand. So a little bit tougher.
Right.
So
Yeah.
no student wants to take the Kanjira. So they always says like, okay, when granddad says these are the kids, they are coming for the demonstration, and if you choose 6 or 7, no one will touch the Kanjira. So I'm the only one who was forced. So my grandfather forced me to play the Kanjira, and whenever the demonstration comes, like, I always say this time I might take Gatam and Mridangam. So I was waiting for my grandfather to say something, and he always says Kanjira again, Kanjira again. So then I got used to that instrument and I started
Right.
loving it. So
Okay, okay.
that's how the Kanjira.
But how was the process of learning? Was it like obviously you've made it clear that it is relatively or arguably a little more instrument than any other, I mean, difficult than any other percussion instrument,
Yeah.
because you have to do it with one hand. But how
Yeah.
was it for you, the evolution and the journey
So
of
that
learning that instrument?
yeah, that was a challenge for me to do it. And then, like, um, I mean, the way of teaching for Carnatic music is different. Like, I mean,
Right,
we have to be with the guru and stay with
correct,
him and then learn not only just the music, everything, each and everything. So for
right,
me, he always says, okay, these are the basics, but you develop your own style. So
Right.
that's more important for any instrument, for any percussion instrument they play. They should have their own style. So I used to practice for 5-6 hours. Like, as soon as I come back from school, straight, I just take a consider and play, because there was an aim. Like, I have to play like somebody else, or I have to play
Right.
like my dad, or that speed
Mm.
I have to get it. So
Mm.
more fascinated, like, so that motivated me to do a lot of practice. So minimum 5 hours, like, we used to play. I mean, I play alone, and then by 7 we have a gang, like, the musical people, like, they all
Right.
come and then they
Right.
jam. So jam session used to happen in the 80s, 90s, all.
Right.
So we used to jam. So that was the thing. Like, when some mridangam player plays something which is tougher to like, replica that in normal instrument, then that became a challenge for me. The next day I will practice that, and then the next day jam session I will do that. So it's like a chain. Like, music. It's always like that. You learn every day. You learn something new.
True. 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 That is. Yeah. It never ends.
Yeah, never ends, for sure.
Absolutely.
Then what happens is I started composing it. Like, then my mind changed. Okay, these are the things I've learned it. And then, of course,
Mm.
I cannot say that I've learned it. I'm still learning. So it's always like that in the music. But my mind says, okay, I have to do something different. Then I started composing. Then I had my own band. Then I did a lot of albums and everything. So one of the album, like, one of the producer who, heard it, and then he said, it sounds good. So let him bring him to movies. So I started composing for movies. I did like 12 movies in Tamil and Telugu
Wow.
as a
Okay.
music composer. See, these are the things, like, the music never ends. Like, it always like keeps going to do something
Cool.
new.
But initially, before everyone started becoming a little more accepting of things that are not from their own ethnicity or their own state, before all that happened, over the past maybe 10 or 15 years,
Yeah.
how much of Kanjira you would hear in, say, a film composition, or hardly anything, right?
No, no. See, it's mostly, if it is a Carnatic based song, there'll be
Yeah,
mridangam or
correct.
more sing, because it goes sounds good. So those are the
Right.
instruments. Like, I haven't heard much of Ghatam and Kanjira. It's all later, when maybe like Raja says, Ilayaraja says, like, the end part maybe did it few, but when Rahman comes in, there were like a lot of percussion instruments which are being
Yeah.
explored.
Yeah, because even I've seen, it's only in the South Indian films or films that are centered around Carnatic music where you get to hear all this, or see all this.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Shankarabharanam and all these
yeah,
kind of films. And
yeah.
I think you got active in the film composition, music composition space just when the whole thing was opening up, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's also, after I started composing it. Like, before I was like, just a percussion player who accompanies. Like, whoever calls me, like, it's a freelancer and I can be a band member or whatever, but not a composer. Composing, it's totally different. Not just rhythm composing it, like, musically, like, so when I
Right.
started doing that, then that was a new world. And then people started hearing it. I said, who composed this? Like, so I did it. And there are a lot of ways, like, oh, okay, he's also a composer, so let's try. So that's how it's all got into the movies.
But was it difficult for you to mold yourself into that space? Because obviously, when you're a Carnatic musician and you're
Yeah,
making your own compositions, the rules are different, the
yeah,
the purpose is different. But in films, you have no choice but to support the visuals, or
exactly.
give emotions to that.
Yeah.
So how was that transition in terms of, did you feel that like you were being restricted, or was it a fun experience, or
Definitely, it's a fun experience, and it's always like, when I got into the movie, I was already like brave. Broke the rules. Like, I
right,
started.
right,
Uh,
right,
my tactics also started. Like, and I was almost like a little bit. People got to know that who I am and what I do and everything after Remember Shakti and thing. So that was already like, I'm into that world. So it became like, it's easy for me. But I've
or that
not.
natural progression.
Yeah. So
Okay.
exactly. And luckily, all my directors they were all open. Like, they wanted something new.
Okay.
So it's always like that. So otherwise, like, now I stopped. I'm totally not stopped, but I wanted to be out of that, because, as you said, now it's become very tough. It's
Yeah.
restricted. You
Right.
have to something else, and then it become a race, and it become a competition. See, music, it's not like that.
True.
Music, you have to enjoy. You have to have
Yeah.
fun. Even
Yeah.
on stage, like, if you don't like something, you shouldn't do it. And not only just music, whatever the job you're doing, you have to like it, you have to love it. Otherwise, you can't give you 100%, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like that. But in the like in few like few years, like I started feeling like I'm forced to do something.
Okay.
I have to
Okay.
match, or like there was a hit number, like then everyone will try to follow that. Even the producer, director will ask, can you do something like that? I said, like, why don't we go for new? Let's
Yeah.
our song can on the chart or whatever. But it's very tough to convince them. So then I took a break now. I said, okay,
Okay.
on something else. So I started again to composing albums and other stuff. And then it's all more like of course, like I'm writing a book on the in Kanjira, because we have a fingering techniques, everything for mridangam, but not for
Right.
the Kanjira. All like our own. So now I'm started writing that, so that like the schools are like I'm teaching it, and then I've started a school in New York. I've started a school in San Francisco. So they're like
Right. Oh,
spreading
wow. Okay.
one in Japan. So we're expanding that. So my mind is more into this. Like, okay, I have done this. Now it's a time to give it to someone else.
True. True. True.
Music,
True.
it's all you have to give it back to someone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
mind is more on that. Like I'm in teaching, and then like spreading the world. Like this is what.
And you must have met or whoever the directors that you were interacting with when you're composing music for something, the projects that came to you. You must have met more people who try to turn you into a certain direction rather than entrust you with you do what's best and I will go by your judgment. That would be
Yeah,
very imbalanced, right? I mean, you would have met more people who try to control what the outcome.
that's the reason I said I want to take a break.
Okay, that still happen. You're saying that still happens because
Oh yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. So
oh,
as long as you become like, say, for Rahman, even he cannot just compose one song for one sequence. He has to have two options or three options
right,
where they can. So
right,
which is like they will choose. So they are the ones say, okay, oh, I like this song. Okay, this portion I like it or whatever. So still it's happening, and just imagine that happens for Rahman, and imagine about us.
yeah, you can, it's ever present, I think.
Yeah, because he's the man, and he's the person, who's into. He loves his job. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Whenever I interact, whenever I do a session with him, the way he wants to work is like it's more fun. Why don't you do this? Why don't you try something else? Or let's do something totally different form of rhythm. So the interaction and then the fun to play with him, that made me like, okay, whoa, this is more fun. Let's do it.
yeah,
Let's come.
yeah,
Then you interact with different musicians. You learn. When the singer comes in, when he says, can he change this line like this, which means you're learning that process.
true,
So
true, true, true.
that's real fun. But that all happens once the producer and director says okay to that song, then the fun
Right,
starts. But before, it's all like tension. It's like
yeah,
writing exam, which I don't like. And go to school. I mean, of course I did it, but saying like school means exam. Mark,
right,
who's
right.
I'm second, like I don't like that kind of. You have to have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand about music is that there's nothing called better music or worse music. It's all music. You like whether you like it or not is your personal preference. But you can't.
Exactly.
You have no authority to say that this guy is better than that guy or this guy. He
See, it's all like that. Like, do you have a good God or bad God? God is God.
right. Yeah.
Like it's all. So if you like it, you like it. Or maybe your perspective is different. You might have, you're hearing it in a different perspective, so you don't like it. Or some music which I feel, it's nothing, but people say it's great.
Right. Right.
It's all like years. The way you, see it.
True. True. True.
Simple.
So true.
For me, having a rasam rice at home and having a rasam in a five-star hotel, but rasam is rasam, but the presentation might be different.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And tell us something about how did Remember Shakti happen?
Oh, that's a huge story. Like, I mean, John McLaughlin, he did it 98 or something. He wants to do River Shakti again, but remember they call it Remember Shakti. So there was one concert happened in London with Hariprasad Chaurasia ji,
Okay.
John, my dad, and Zakir Bhai. So that went great. Like, I mean, then audience started asking when is the next and wanting to come to our cities, things like that. So John G and Zakir Bhai decided, okay, let's do the group again with a different musician. So that time my dad was busy with the school. So and also like John G said, let's do with different percussion player who
Right.
can Mridangam, Ganjira, Ghatam and all South Indian percussion. Then Zakir Bhai said, best is Selva because he plays with me and then he's the best person we can choose him. And he said, okay, how do I hear him? So where can I hear him? I said, like, come to our concert. I have a tour coming up in Europe too. So we are playing in Paris. So come to that concert and you will see him. So I was playing with Zakir Bhai, Masters of Percussion. So John G came for that concert, and on that day morning, Zakir Bhai said like today John G is coming. Oh my gosh, like he's like my hero.
Yeah, right.
Like a little bit like I want to prove something, but I didn't know that he's coming to auditioning me. Like I didn't even know nothing. So Zakir Bhai is always like that. He never scares you. Like if he tells me that, then I'll be like maybe I'll feel. I mean I don't want. He doesn't want to do that on stage. I have to be free. I have to have fun. So on that day, he like he made me play more. He said play. You play. Whatever accompany everything. So that was Ganesh Kumarish, Zakir Bhai, me, my dad.
Right.
So after that, John G came. I mean he came to meet us in a green room, and Zakir Bhai said. And then John G said, I was just seeing, I didn't even know about it. So end of the tour, Zakir Bhai said, be ready. These are the 3 months, September, October, November. I said, oh, Masters of Percussion? No, Remember Shakti. No, come again, Zakir Bhai. I didn't hear it, what he said. He said, Remember Shakti. You mean Shakti? Yeah, Remember Shakti. Do you think I'm going to be playing with that band? Yeah. I said, I mean, I don't have a choice to dream that I will play in this band.
Right.
Not even like people say it's my dream to play, but I can't even dream that because that's the band where my dads and everyone plays it. I said the whole night I couldn't sleep. The next day morning we went to somewhere in Italy, and then we were flying. So I went to Zakir Bhai, what you said yesterday, is that true? I said, yeah, we are playing. So that's all happened. Then 1999, our first tour started, and it was a great fun. And it's always like with them, it's like family because
Right.
On the first tour, on the Shakti first tour, end of the tour, John G invited us to his house for a dinner. Then he took me to the studio, his studio, and he said, one photo, see that photo. Old Shakti in Chennai. I was standing behind like a kid with the school uniform.
Wow.
So I'm standing like this, behind. He said, still I have this photo, and I couldn't believe that you are playing with us.
It has come full circle.
Yeah. That was I mean, that's the stage. I think that's the best moment in my life. Where I got into this group, and still,
Absolutely.
and where I said family is like John G, and John G says even now. I met your grandfather, I met your father, I met you, and I met your son. Now I'm meeting your son's daughter. So 5 generations we saw of my family.
Wow.
Which makes family. So whenever I'm with them, it's always feel like my brothers or my uncle, whatever. It's a family. It's always a family. So that's
Right.
all. That's how it happened to the Remember Shakti.
I'll just take a couple of minutes to call out some comments. Vignesh, I think he's a student of yours. He says, blessed to have a guru like you. Vignesh Sridhar Iyer.
Each and every student.
Giridhar ji is here. Giridhar Udpa sends his pranams to you.
My pranams too. He's a busy guy. Because he's busiest guy now. He's taken on tour. So he's watching means which is he's free today.
In fact, we had him a few months ago. We had him on
Oh,
the IG Live session.
such a
Uh,
nice. I mean, of course, like playing wise, like he's a very good, great musician, but great soul also.
yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Uh, I also wanted to talk to you about this whole space of Shakti. It's
Mhm.
so interesting. I mean, someone could easily say and dismiss it as a okay, it's fusion, and it ends
Yeah,
at that. But I've always found that it's not just fusing. It's so beautiful in a way that imagine it's a bridge, and there are many people walking over it. Some are Indian, some are from France, some are Italian, and somehow it all makes sense.
yeah,
Uh,
right.
I've, yeah,
This is the which opened it.
right,
Like you can call it fusion, but they are the one like to interact with Indian music and the Western music together, and then made it sounds new.
yeah,
Still, like whenever you hear the whole Shakti or like the new piece, we are coming up with an album also, so which is going to be out next year because 50th year next one is Shakti
right.
50th. So even if I hear it now, it's a tone, it's a sound. Like when I hear that sound, I feel it like I heard this like maybe in even past life also.
Especially John Sir's guitar tone. The moment you hear that patch, you
Yeah,
know that this is Shakti.
exactly, and it's like effortless. Like if you
Yeah,
watch Zakib Khanji, like you won't feel that is that speed he's playing, but it never shows like that. Like the way Zakiba plays. See, these are all learning process also. That's it's all there, but still I'm saying it's all sweet. Maybe like the reason why I'm saying is they all having fun. They all like
mhm,
they love it. So maybe
yeah,
that's the reason. So the
yeah.
music
For
comes.
them, the stage becomes a space, and it's almost as if there's no audience, and they are enjoying. They are talking to each other through music.
That's what it is. That's always like that. Like I mean, people, if you enjoy, if you love
Yeah,
what you do, you will just give it back to people. Like then the 100% is there, so people will love it. So that is the thing. This you have to learn. Each and every musician has to learn this, like from them. And Shakti tone is always like, as you said, like when I hear it, not even like the start, like if you hear one tone, oh, this is Shakti, and this is
right,
John G, this is
right.
Zakib. So just imagine how much effort they have done it to get that level of like people can understand. Okay, this is him.
I've seen Shakti live twice. I think once at King George School in Dadar, and the
Oh yeah,
other at an auditorium. If I'm Shanmukhananda, if I'm not mistaken, it was out of the world. Like I
yeah,
keep telling you, I still watch the '70s Shakti concerts,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Paris Jazz Festival, and all of that. It takes you on a different journey. And once you
Yes,
start
that's
watching, you have to see the whole thing.
yeah.
And
But
yeah.
the
Sorry,
tour is
you
going to
you were
happen.
saying something, huh?
No, the tour is going to happen. So we are going to play in India also,
Oh
jazz.
wow,
So
that is amazing news. So
yeah,
people
yeah,
watching, please make a note. Remember, Shakti is going to tour very soon. Is it an
yeah,
India tour or an
yeah.
international one?
Actually, yeah, it's India plus international.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So
It's going to be.
which cities would you be covering?
Huh?
Which cities would you be covering in India?
Haven't like get the dates like but the months are all blocked. But definitely Mumbai. It's like
Right.
obviously the Mumbai.
Yes, yes. I think it will be at NCPA.
Yeah.
I think I've
I
seen a concert there also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
did it. Yeah, we did it.
I
And
think Trilok ji was also there in that show.
yeah, yeah, correct. That was like
Yeah.
for some uh, NCPA did it for some fundraising or something like that. I think so, if I'm not wrong.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. This is quite a few years ago actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
do you have any fond memories, any funny stories from your live shows or those experiences?
A lot, not just like one. Every day, like I mean, it's always like that happens, and like I mean, we meet people like they can't even pronounce my instrument name or no. I mean, it's very tough to pronounce my name, and that made like a fun. And John G is I mean, the sense of humor for him, it's like amazing. You need like same thing like the music. After that, like you will be laughing all the like whole. because some kind of a fun thing will happen and he will start doing that, like, and he make you throw it out, like, I mean, you will laugh a lot. So each and every moment, it's always a fun. I mean, there are a lot of funny things. Like, there was a guy when Srinivas used to play. I mean, when he was alive.
Right,
So
right.
so there was a guy who came and asked him, what is that instrument? And I think he cannot pronounce ma, whatever. So he says mandolin. And he says dandolin. He said, again, he said dandolin. That's it. On that night, we were traveling in the bus, and Janji was saying, he started calling everyone Selvaganesh, Dagir Hussain, Diniwas. And then I said, what do you call him a driver? He said, Maivar. So he used for D. Fun, it's always like that. Like, I mean, he says, like, can we have a dude? I said,
Okay.
what? So it's
Okay.
always. Then the whole night will be like that only, and everyone will start talking like that. And then when Shankar is also like, he has a sense of humor, Shankar Mahadevan. So
Yeah.
when Shankar and Johnji together, that's it. The whole night will be like, will be laughing. So there are lots.
Any experiences to do with the technical side of things, the technicalities in terms of sound or
See, I used to have like, it was very tough to play Gatam with a normal microphone. Okay.
okay.
So
Okay.
E411, which helped it, and like, if you see it now, even the new Gatam player, even like, you won't believe it. There was a guy who learns Gatam from my dad. Now, I mean, I think he used to learn. He comes with the mic and amp.
Wow.
For listening, he says, "No, you use the mic. No, it sounds good. I know that, but you're learning now, so you shouldn't get used to that. You have to play hard, because once you get used to a good sound, then you
Right.
don't have. You will feel bad. So don't you do that. So now it's become like that. So it's become part of Gatam. So C411 is like Gatam comes with C411. That's because my dad, like, when he used to play in Shakti in 70s, I think John G have introduced him to Fisherman, the mic,
Right.
the pickup mic, Fisherman. So they made one special mic for my dad. So after that, he lost it, and then they didn't do it, like, just they made it for my dad. That's it, one mic. So after that, he was saying, like, no, I have to find a pickup mic. And he tried a lot of things, and then this came in C411. It's all that. So similarly, my mic also, like the clip-on mic, AKG clip-on mic.
Right.
So
Right.
these are the things. We are happy with whatever we have with the microphone, our own microphone. But if you have a good sound engineer who travels with you, then technically we don't have to worry about it. So it's all happens like this. And now, what a technology! Like, I mean, you hear your sound like perfectly clearly, so you don't strain yourself. So
True.
it becomes easier.
Right. Right.
So that's technology which is really, really, really going on into it.
We will, let's also talk for a bit about your setup, your
Yeah,
instrument setup.
yeah.
How did that come about? How was the evolution? You
Uh,
started with a Kanjira, and then you must
yeah.
have added to it gradually.
No, I did that, but what happens is, like, when again in 90s, like when I used to play with Prasanna and Shivamani, so I don't want to just play just Kanjira, so I wanted to build up something, and then I started using with sticks, so like toms and everything, timbales and cowbell.
Right.
So I started with sticks. Then I realized I stopped it because when I used to, when I use play, when I'm playing with the stick, then when I take a Kanjira, then it becomes tighter. My hands are like tighter, so I cannot do
Okay.
what but not like what I want to do. Like, I wanted to throw this or this speed, whatever, it gets stuck. Then I realized maybe it's not a good idea for me to do a stick technique. Then I stopped doing it. Then I started a rock band, like, progressive rock band with Karthik Singer. There was a flute player and then there was a bass player. So we started this band and then started composing together and everything. Then Gino was part of it too. So then I said, okay, I want to bring it back some kind of a mini setup, but not using a stick. So I'm an endorser of minor symbols. So they allowed me to choose some symbols. So where I went to the shop. So I wanted to, of course, for symbol you need to use the stick. But what I did
Right.
is I just kept on the top and then I started eating so that, like, I won't hurt myself. I mean, while holding it. So I started playing with it. Then that became idea. Oh, this is good. So I don't have to play, and also like one stroke, but I can do 4 strokes. So
Right.
so
Right.
science behind it, like, how do I work on it? So one of my assistant, he says we use a small cycle tube rubber. So he made it with that, and then he broke the stick into off, and then put a small hole into it, and then put a screw and then rubber. It started bouncing.
Okay.
So that's how, like, then of course, like with Remo, I have I have all set of Remo because I'm also into a set of Remo. So I have made it a small setup which has a small snare with Trillo. I've built it up for Remo. So
Okay.
that snare, that is stick is also attached on the snare, so that you get the hit sound like a stick sound. And then
Right.
toms, they have this called tabla tone, which is 6, 8, and 10 inches. So I use that as a tom. So similarly, I mean, like slightly I started building up, then it became more passion than everything I play with hands. So it doesn't matter, like, as soon as I take a consider, it's all like cool. Then that's how it started. So I started for that band. Then it became like, okay, for me, it's also part of my life. So in 3G, the group which we have at 3 generation, my dad, me, my son, and my brother. So in that band also I started playing that, and it became it sounds good, and it's not loud because I can, like, I have the control of how loud I can do it. So
Right.
that's how the setup is started.
Okay. But so I just wanted to reconfirm when you spoke about playing on the cymbal. Did you have to wear something on your fingers so that just
All
your
my
plain
fingers.
fingers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the attached on the cymbal and bounces, so I can
Right.
just do it like that. So
Okay.
I don't or anything. And then even the toms and the snare, everything, it's all like hand percussion.
Right.
So
Right.
you just take. Say if it is timbales, other thing, then you need it because you might hit the rim or, like, won't get the sound.
Right.
But the which I build it up with a remote, it's all hand percussion instrument, but I build up in the stand. So it means like I still play with the hands, which will be audible and clearly.
You have a snare that has a drumstick attached to it, and then you hit the stick instead of the snare, something like that, right?
It's again the same technique, so it bounces. So I can
Right.
play it. I play with the hands, so that it's like I can do like that. So
Correct. You
stick
can treat it.
is like on a snare, like to pack. You won't get that with the hand. So I need to have
True.
the
True.
stick. So attached to that. So tack. And then I have a
Right.
kick. I have the small kick drum, which is like a 8 inch and then 12. And I use my right leg as a. My left leg as a kick. Usually drummer uses right leg, but for me it's left. The reason is, it's all a mind game, right? So
Right.
mridangam, right is top and left is low. So
Low.
all bass goes in here for us.
Mm.
So even the mind. So whenever I do it, it's all like my left leg goes into the kick. So then I
Okay.
guess, oh, maybe, I've trained it like that. I was trained, and I said, okay, this is the mind. So let me use it on the left. So I was using a kick on the left.
Okay. You've also tried using the hand kick? No.
No, because I use a foot kick with the, so that, like, I get the real drum tone, like,
Right. Right.
not the groove and everything. It should be similar to that, but I don't do much of that. I bring the Carnatic way of, the rhythmic approach. I bring it to that kick.
Okay. And it would be great if you could also, for people who are not so aware about it, if you could
Yeah.
also speak a little bit about Konakul,
Oh yeah,
how it helps, and
Konakol it's become a common language right now
right.
all over the. So if you see any drummer, Westerners, like, they will just do at least one tadi ginatam or something like that.
Right.
So Konakol
Right.
became a common language, and it's become easier. The reason is, when we go for a new band or new collaboration or just 1, 2, 3 concerts or whatever, so to explain their melody, when they play so whatever,
Yeah.
like, we have to hear it more. But the Konakol really helps. This guy says it's nothing but ta 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 dum ta dum ta di ta ta. So it's easy. The language I
Right.
understood. Immediately
Right.
I'll just play. But that helps a lot. That is one thing. And it's more of, like, it's a language, musical language. So which, like, for example, when I do something really faster, people say, how can you do that faster? Like, I say, like, there are two things. One is, our language is already fast. Tamil language is like, it's more of
True.
so
Correct.
many.
Absolutely.
It goes fast. We won't see people like, talk about everything goes faster.
Correct.
So it rolls, and the few words in Hindi, some Sanskrit or Tamil, like, it has more of tongue technique, like, twister.
Yeah.
So that, and also like when for example, this is the speed. Okay, it goes in like that, but it's all a syllable.
Right. When four becomes 32.
Yeah. So that makes more interesting element in the concert for the audience. We say like, wow, what is that? Because we can hear it from the instrument, but how can you do that fast thing? How can you talk like that? Like, it's so it become a fascinating thing. And if you see, if I open a Facebook, like, just in the morning, at least one or two, like, guys will do some chronicle and post it. I'm saying foreigners.
Correct.
So,
Correct. Foreigners and even Indians for that matter, like Vivek Rajgopalan, one of our endorsers, he's also a proponent of Konakul, and he has this group. He's associated with Swadesi, the rappers, and they are using Konakul meters and things for rapping. I mean, it's so interesting, and as you said, even foreigners are picking it up, and they're genuinely interested because this is something totally different and based only on your mouth. I mean,
but there was the other thing also, if I'm not wrong. I forgot the rapper name in America. So he have come up with one song which is tada kita taka tina tada. The whole rap goes like that.
Right.
I come to know that he picked it up from Konakol. He heard somewhere like when tata kita taka tina. So this is our way of one style of doing it. He picked it up and then he made a rapper like this. Tada kita taka tada tada tada. All like that only, the whole song. I forgot his name. He's a bigger Bruno, I think so, if I'm not wrong. So these are all, see, that's the way the Konakol is like, gone somewhere else.
True. But it doesn't have any written form, right? I mean,
Konakol, no, that's what, like, I'm writing it. Like, it's all lesson now. So I made it like a chapter. So it's more of 10 chapters. Each chapter will have 4 different talas. So it's all a big. So I'm just coming out. It's all written. Like, I'm writing it like a lesson.
Right. So Taniyavartanam, everything will come in.
Implement Taniya, how to practice lessons, exercise, everything. It's like a one book. More of like,
I'm sorry, I lost your voice. I can't.
Yeah, no, there was a phone call.
Now I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Konakol became more fashion, and then it become style. There are a lot, like, I would say, see that, and again, it's like more of emotions. Like, you can bring it up different emotion in Konakol. Like, it's like kind of a way of how we talk. If you want to be nicer, you can talk nicely. If you want to be more eager, like angry, whatever the emotions, it's all you can throw it at. So in Konakol, that works great.
Because even when I was a kid, I would always be amazed because my father would watch a lot of Carnatic concerts on the television, mostly on the television. So I would sit and I would see these people say what they're going to play and then play exactly that, and I was so amazed. I mean, it still continues to amaze me because you have to remember all of that, right? I mean, it's like you're playing with your brain as well as your hands.
Exactly. See, this is what it is. So my dad have come up with a new idea after for a while. He took all slokas, so Tamil slokas, some Sanskrit slokas, made it rhythmically. Because when you say any sloka, like for example, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, you just say it without a rhythmic, like Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva. So it became like a rhythmic, and it's more like a rapping. So our group, 3G group, it's more of that. So there's no melodic instrument into it. So we have all. Yeah. So with the Gatam and of course our instrument, but it's more of rhythmic sessions. Like in each and every piece will have one sloka, like Adinda Madhya, Madhum, so different talams. So it's all he is the one who come up with this idea and became like now if you see any South Indian percussion concert, like Taniya Vartana concert or whatever, so we Mridangam, Ganjira, Ghatam, Morsing, Konakol, whatever, they all take one turns, different turns, and then they play for 40 minutes or whatever. But it's all like their own stuff. But the group which we started now, it's all like integrated, it's all composed. Each and every piece composed in different cycles. So it's composed piece, like how the Tyagaraja Kritis are like, or any form of music, you can say composed one. So it is composed like that. So that's why we can do even 2 hours concert without boring. So each and every, and we do a lot of interaction with the audience. Like if you have noticed in Harman also, when I did that concert, like we interact with the audience. We ask them to say.
I was just about to say, I think you've performed one of those compositions at the 2019 edition of Live Arena, where Swami was also there.
Exactly. So we did it together, and then we interact. See, our thing is like, to give them a small thing. It's all picked up from African concerts. Like, there are a lot of African musicians, they interact with the audience. See, for them, more of playing, it's rather like, they play with the audience.
Right.
So this is actually comes from Africa. I mean, which I have noticed. I have seen it so many times when there was a guy, Mamadi Keta. He's a djembe player. In 92, when I had a chance to do a workshop in Germany, Terry Bozzio, the drummer for...
Terry Bozzio.
Terry Bozzio. So Terry Bozzio was there, me and Rick Latham. There was a drummer. Then there was a Latin percussion player, and then Mamadi Keta. He's from Africa. I'm from India. So there was like different type. So we did it workshop, and every night we have to play for the students. And it was done in castle, in like more of it's in castle. Only like students will be there, and they have the rooms and everything to stay. So they all stay 1 week with the teachers. So they interact with the teachers. So it's more of culture, like the way we used to teach. So they made it like that in 90s. So when I saw him, more of every night, like when he plays, he always interact with the audience. He walks out, and then he will ask them to repeat what he plays. So this is more. Then I asked him why? I mean, how did you get this? He said it's my culture. Our culture says like that. Like even in Ghana, when I did a tour, there was a kingdom. Still, Ghana has that king thing. So when they call people with a percussion instrument.
Okay.
So this group will say like in 10 minutes you have to be here. Like something if he plays it, the king is coming. So it's all like rhythmic for them. For them like more of talking through
like the Native Americans had smoke signals.
Exactly. Exactly. So this got into my mind, and then I said, okay, this is a good idea. So from that moment, I started interacting with the audience, so that they will feel, they just came and then heard me and then went. It's more than that. Like they'll be part of it. They'll be part of our concert. They'll be part of it. So they feel it. Okay. Oh, I also did something. I also did something.
Correct.
So it's like that. So that's how it's.
Even I think that's a culture that's catching up a lot, because even some corporate companies, like even in our company, for example, there was an engagement program where there were about 1,500 employees. Everyone was given a djembe, and there was a guy on stage, and then he would give them instructions of, you play this, now play that, you keep playing this, I will add to that. So it became like a huge concert there.
And just imagine the feel of the audience. Like once they think that I'm also part of it, that makes me happy. That's it.
Absolutely, rather than just sitting and watching. So true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very, very true. And I would also ask you to maybe share your thoughts with the up and coming musicians, or people who are considering becoming musicians. What is it that they should have in their mind before they set out into this vast ocean?
Yeah, I know. So one thing is practice. Keep practicing it. Even when you started playing concert also, but you have to still practice, because I'm watching, for example, my inspiration is like Zakir Bhai. Whenever you see, when I go to his room to meet him, he always covers his tabla with a towel, playing it. And the mandolin he was always with his instrument. There are a lot of my dad. He still wakes up. I mean, not this 2 months. He's not doing it. He a little bit is like feeling like well, of course he's 80 plus now. 80.
Yeah.
So he used to wake up by 4:30, goes to the puja room, and he will play for 1 hour. Like just practice. Like he says like I dedicate my music to God. This is the way I pray.
So he always wakes up at Brahma Muhurtam.
4:30, yeah, 4:30 to 5:30, 6. You'll be in puja room, like practicing it. Just Shiva, Shiva, Shiva on the katam or play something, whatever. He says like this is my prayer. I don't know how to pray, so through music I will pray. So these are the instruments. So for why I'm saying this is, in that age, if they think that we have to practice even now, we have to learn that. So each and every musician who are like an upcoming musician, the first thing is practice. I mean, dedicate yourself to music so that you can give you 100%. And other than this, don't think about like I mean, don't compare you with some other musician.
Right.
Be what you like. People now what they think is okay, Shivamani is Shivamani,
Oh.
and you
Right.
be Shivamani.
Yeah.
So if you try to like you like copy it and then do something else, you have to come up with something else. You can make an instrument like that, but you have to come up with something else. So don't compare. Second thing is, when your learning process is always there. Even still, I learn from my dad.
Right. Right.
So you have to keep your mind open to learn. That's the thing. When I used to be like like when I started my profession, there are a lot of people say like music. You cannot take music as a profession because for living you need to do something else. But no, music always feed you. It's no doubt about it. Yes, I mean I have example for that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Past 2 years there was like a lockdown period. People were sitting at home. Okay. Like IT people, they still sit. I mean,
Right.
work from.
Right.
But as a profession, like what we do, 2 months. But teaching helped me. So music
Oh.
always. So don't ever think that can you take this as a profession or maybe I do something else and then do music also so that my family is balanced or whatever. But don't worry about it. Music always helps you.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
I think
music.
yeah, and then I think the problem lies in the fact that people expect, like, if you start working somewhere, you start getting a salary every month, and
Yeah.
nobody is coming and checking how much work you're doing, and especially if it's a slightly bigger company. But
Yeah.
the effort that you have to put in to use your own talent to earn that money, that is something
Yeah.
else that you have to do, right? Nobody's going to
Definitely.
come and give it to you. Yeah.
No doubt about it. So it's always like that. So be with music, love your music, love your instrument, talk to your instrument, and
Yes.
which is more important. Like you have to feel that that's belong to you, and that's you. Not even like I mean, it's apart from you. Instrument is like that's it's a mirror.
True. True.
So
True.
whatever throws to the people, like so it's like that. So talk to them. Like whenever I say that, people say like, "What are you saying? How do you talk to instrument? You will feel it." Because
Yeah.
I feel with my instrument, and instrument says if I don't touch her like for 2 days or something, immediately like when I play, not something will happen. Like when I say like no, I'm not feeling comfortable. Then instrument says like, suppose you haven't touched me for 2 days, you
Right.
haven't talked to me, so
Right.
I'm bored. Then now like no, sorry, let me play. I will just do some
Yeah.
warm up and then some exercise. Immediately I will get that feel like okay, my instrument opened it.
The
Okay,
warmth is
now
back. Yeah.
that. So think it like that way, like each and everything. And if you, even for the upcoming musician, if they have some new ideas, throw it to me also. I will learn. So that's
Right.
the open mind you have to have it.
True. 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 Or realizing that you're on a never-ending journey.
No. My dad always says like I mean, how he keeps the example is like, okay, if you learn how to swim, okay, there are three things. One is do it for your exercise, like to keep your body healthy.
Yeah.
So weekly twice you go and swim. Second, go on be part of Olympics or everything, get like more medals and everything. Third one, dive into the sea, search for something.
That
So
is beautiful.
music, it's like that. So you go, under like it's never ending process, because you will find something new in the sea. So the
Absolutely,
ocean
absolutely.
music, it's also like a ocean. So if you want to dive into the ocean, then you have to keep open. You cannot say,
Mm.
oh, I went to this depth, or this is enough. No, you cannot be. Okay, if you be part of Olympic or whatever, like if you win like 7 gold medal or whatever, but there is an age limit. They won't allow you to do more than that,
Right.
right?
True.
And to health wise, okay, weekly twice you go and swim. Okay, it keeps your health nicely. But diving into a ocean sea, it's a never ending process, and there is no age limit for that. As long as if you can be able to handle it.
True, true, true.
That's
On that very special note, I would like to thank you for having joined the session today. Thank you to everyone who joined us, everyone who's commented and watched us. Thank you so much, Selva sir, and
my
always a pleasure talking to you.
same here. Same here. I'm really happy, and I mean, the great moments happens like when you talk like this. Then only the something will come out. The sharing a thing. It's always nice, and that technology helps us to do it like this. Otherwise, I have to come to Bombay and sit together or whatever. But now I couldn't even believe it. Like you're sitting exactly opposite to me and doing like that. So
Right.
and always I'm thankful to Harman for great support, not just for me, for each and every musician. So you guys actually makes musician more happy than anything else, because you support. So when we know that there are a lot of supports from the company, and we do more, we do a lot. So on that, I would definitely say I mean I have to thank Harman, giving up each and every way, you always think, okay, how do we help musician, how do we do this, how do we do that. There are a lot of stuff. So I really thankful to Harman, and you guys are doing great, and be like us, and then take the music to a different level.
Our pleasure, sir. We only wish that we can do more. Hopefully, yes, one day,
Yeah, yeah,
we,
for
we will
sure.
we will be able to do more. So
Thank you very much. No,
thank you,
whatever
thank you.
goes, that's itself it gives more support. So once you know that there are people who are supporting, then you can be you don't have to worry about anything else. You just walk.
True, true, true.
Yeah.
All right,
So
sir.
thank you,
Thank,
thank you.
thank you so much, sir. Thanks everyone for joining. Oh, there's a comment that has come in. Thank you for this, Selvaji. Lots of love from an ardent Shakti fan. That's Giri
Oh,
Subram. Okay.
oh, thank you very much, Giri, and each and every person, I mean, people who are watching this and commenting. Please, really thanks for that, watching us, and do support to music, and listen to go and listen not on the YouTube or something. Of course, even on YouTube you will get paid. So be support to music. Love your
Absolutely. And
music.
please follow him on Instagram. His ID is at the rate Kanjira Selva. You will get to know about upcoming tours, concerts, all of that.
Yep.
So please
Yeah.
follow it.
Yeah.
And while you're at it,
Yeah.
you can follow Harman Pro India also. Thanks.
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you.
Likewise, sir. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Thank
Thank
you.
you, brother.
Bye.